Their line is prices, affordability. That's the new word, affordability. It's much less expensive under Trump. And I haven't been here long. 9 months is not a long time. But look at what I've done to energy. Look at the price of gasoline. Going from $4.50 to $2.50 or $2.70, it's going to be $2 gasoline.
People want affordable.
Well, the economy is my thing, and we have the greatest economy in history.
So are Republicans not selling it enough?
Yes, the Republicans don't talk about it.
So they need to do a better job on Capitol Hill of
the Democrats give false talk, and the Republicans, and I say it all the time, Republicans have to talk about the fact that prices are down.
President Trump with Laura Ingraham this week emphasizing how Republicans need to highlight affordable economy, especially as Americans want answers over who's responsible for the longest government shutdown in history. One poll shows 52% it's the fault of Republicans, and President Trump, 42% blame Democrats. House Speaker Mike Johnson calling all House members back to Capitol Hill for a vote today on the funding bill, which was just passed by the Senate. Meanwhile, the Democrat divide is on full display as many voices are calling for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to resign now. Joining me now is former RNC chairman and North Carolina Senate candidate Michael Whatley. Michael, great to see you.
It's great to be with you.
Thank you so much for being here. So what do you make of all of the knives now turning against Chuck Schumer?
You know, this is a guy who for 20 years plus had said we cannot shut down the government. Shutdowns are bad. And he turned around and he shut down the government. And he did it for purely political posturing back in New York City, and really truly has put the American people's interests behind his own political interests.
How does this shutdown impact the midterm elections next year, do you think?
I don't think it really does, because the American people understand that this is just posturing by the Democrats, and the fact that they voted 14 different times to keep the government shut down, even while they were saying that shutdowns were bad.
Yeah. Well, what about, you know, this whole issue that President Trump raised with Laura about affordability? I mean, the president has been talking about affordability the whole time. That was one of his goals on the campaign trail. That's why he's focused on energy and gasoline prices. Why aren't we hearing more from Republicans on this going into the elections?
We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it every day. That is the issue that President Trump won on, was housing prices, grocery prices, gasoline prices, affordability for every single family, for every single community. And right now, that continues to be the #1 issue set. And he's right. Grocery prices are down and gasoline prices are down. And he's fighting every day with the Fed to try and bring interest rates down and help with housing prices. The president is pushing on every lever that he can to make this country more affordable. That is an issue set we really need to talk about in the election cycle.
I mean, the issue obviously resonated with young people in New York City because Mamdani talked all about it. I mean, one of his, his big selling points was I want free buses and free grocery stores.
Yeah, look, and what we need to do is make sure that people are in a position where they can afford to get married, they can afford to buy a house, they can afford to raise their family, and have this conversation with every family, with every community. In my race, this is going to be an absolutely critical issue, along with crime and along with making sure, that we're creating jobs, we're raising wages, and we're having economic policies that are going to work for our farmers and our manufacturers and our small businesses.
Tell me about your race. You're running for the North Carolina Senate seat to replace Tom Tillis. You're facing off against the former governor, Roy Cooper. You're on the record calling Cooper, quote, a card-carrying member of the woke mob, joining Mamdani, Jasmine Crockett, and AOC in opposing Trump at every turn. North Carolina is the state where 29-year-old Irina Zarutska was murdered on a Charlotte train back in August. A judicial appointee from Cooper's term as governor reportedly cut the bond of that suspect, who is a repeat offender, by nearly 100%. North Carolina Congressman Pat Harrigan joined me on this program yesterday on why he's calling for the National Guard in the city. Watch.
I've asked Josh Stein, our governor, to consider working with President Trump to allow the National Guard to come into Charlotte, because we've had 8 murders in the last 7 days. Murders are up 200% in Uptown, and violent crime in Charlotte is higher than 97% of American cities. Use the National Guard as a force multiplier, and they can take a lot of load off the Charlotte Metropolitan Police Department, allowing them to do their jobs and make Charlotte a safer place.
Wow, what is going on there, Michael?
North Carolina has a crime epidemic right now because my opponent, Roy Cooper, as governor back in 2020, when he was marching around the Capitol with Antifa and BLM, signed an executive order to reimagine law enforcement in North Carolina. He created cashless bail. He created pretrial release and set up the revolving door that has put people like DeCarlos Brown Jr., who killed Irena Zarotska, back on the street after having been arrested 14 different times, and he was out without bail at that point in time. And we are seeing criminals all over the place, whether it's Raleigh or it's Wilmington or it's Greensboro or it's Charlotte, who are on the street that should not be on the street right now because Roy Cooper wanted to get in with that woke mob where he is right now protesting against Donald Trump at every turn and really truly set up the soft on crime policies that are hurting North Carolina.
I mean, I would argue when you look at all of this crime all over the place, North Carolina, Chicago, California, New York, I mean, it's because of the wide open border. And the last 4 years that we've had, what, 10 million? The president thinks it's 21 million illegals coming into this country committing crimes. Is that part of this?
It is absolutely part of it. You know, the highest, most important function of any government is protecting its citizens, whether it's the federal government, the state government, or the local government. And we see in North Carolina a complete failure by Roy Cooper and his policies to protect those citizens. And right now we need to make sure that we are going to protect the people of North Carolina.
Let me ask your thoughts on the Department of Justice now investigating the University of California, Berkeley security protocols following violent clashes at Turning Point USA's tour stop Monday night. Antifa protesters were there. They lit fireworks. They deployed tear gas. They attempted to stop people from going into the event. 2 people were arrested, and featured speaker Rob Schneider spoke about it. He talked about the importance of free speech. Watch this.
If we are going to have a vibrant society and continue to be the largest economy, the most technologically advanced society in the world, we must protect free speech and debate. When we silence opposing views, we threaten the very fabric of a free society. When we threaten with violence the minority of people who think differently and have different views, our freedom shrinks and our ability to create and innovate is greatly reduced. We cannot afford to continue people having beliefs persist that are not subject to facts or logic or empirical evidence. And anyone who presents empirical evidence to the contrary gets shut down, censored, and subject to violence on the university campus. This has to stop.
I mean, you know, part of this is what Joe Biden and his administration did in the last 4 years before President Trump came back, and that was shutting down free speech. I mean, you're looking at a complete full-on manipulation of corporate America here by, you know, Jack Smith and Joe Biden's administration. You know, they called Verizon, AT&T, they wanted phone records, they called JP Morgan, they subpoenaed bank records. I mean, what is going on? And what should corporate America be doing when they get a subpoena to reveal information about one political party's rivals?
Yeah, well, the weaponization of the justice system to go after President Trump and his allies is absolutely a story that has not been fully told yet. And when you look at what happened in Berkeley, I think there's really 2 takeaways, right? Number one, this is the fulfillment of Charlie's wishes. This is what Turning Point is all about, is going to college campuses across the country and having a conversation like Rob Schneider did. And secondly, there's a reason that Donald Trump named Antifa a terrorist organization. This is the most violent, you know, anti-free speech movement that we've seen in America, and they absolutely need to be shut down. It's one thing for you to say, I'm not going to listen, but for you to try and shut down dissenting voices and make sure that they can't be heard, that is not the American way.
Wow. All right, Michael, we'll be watching your race. Great to talk with you this morning.
It's good to be with you, Maria.
Thanks so much. Michael Whatley joining us.